sure? Just give me a little time. These murders were only committed for the past 12 hours.
Nuclear science, mathematics, because they think beyond the known dimensions of time and space. Adventure, time and space.
وكان يقرأ مكان السكوت يلم شعره ويقرأ كتاب ولما يقرأ كان يمشي واليوم يدور على أكله ولما يعطش كان يمشي.
Good, huh? Yes, for a treat instead of a treatment. Get a pack or get a carton of Old Gold cigarettes. Right now, this is Dennis James reminding you to keep smoking Old Gold cigarettes. Thanks.
Agents go to the back of the bus for a reason. In quiet carriages, rain lands as music. You can sync the full rumbling forward motion of a single decker with your own heartbeat. To Jerusalem wearing a zoot suit and Gatsby. He always has a briefcase full of important documents with him, the contents of which I cannot divulge. Agent 4 conducts conversations in hushed tones. He's not antisocial, he just knows where the bodies are buried. Agent 8 arrives incognito dressed as an Armenian dowager, whose face holds the weight of Ottoman genocide. Before this I think we were all once backseat lovers.
The Dream Reporters. It's always fascinating to see dream and memory mating in the primal waters of imagination. It will be an honour to witness Dishome's union. At the summit, we see a great waste of desert. I'm surprised because this seems like such an obvious dream metaphor for writer's block. Almost too obvious a metaphor for such a visionary writer like Dishome. After all, it's a privilege being granted access to his inner creative kingdom. And Dishome's historic contempt for journalists has not gone undocumented. We're certainly grateful, we just expected something a bit more original. Anyway, we can't complain. Even if we have no success in fixing his writer's block, well, the advance money we received from the New York Times in exchange for the exclusive rights to our footage should tide us over nicely, for a time at least. I mean, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime job. I take a moment to document my peripherals on the handheld dictaphone. I'm compelled to note everything for posterity. I feel seas of shifting mineral brush over my ankles, and there is a peace here, the kind of which I'm wholly unfamiliar, the kind of calm that only the great Dishome could imagine in all his ethereal genius. The sun sits as a great ghost ship marooned in the sky. Even in artistic limbo he can be breathtaking. Then the shifting minerals change into something else, something obscure, alien, and suddenly moving en masse. Hordes of insects appear, distinguished from obscurity by the sky's burning vessel. I tell John, my cameraman, to train the lens on the thick column of code-covered insects. This is classic Dishome. His subconscious is trying to tell us something by stimulating the perceptual content around him. I sense we're edging closer to an explanation for his writer's block. The little dream algorithms scurry in a northerly direction, leading us perhaps to vital pieces of code that might complete the puzzle. We must be near a hot zone, John. Quick, turn up the fMRI resolution. Let's see where these things came from and what they're made of. John complies, and the temporal res of the environment throbs with new creative activity. Creative neurons, all right, John confirms. As documenters of Dishome's private dreamscape, we've been trained to spot the obvious signs of subconscious communication, and as an accomplished aeronaut, Dishome is theoretically with us every step of the way as a sort of lucid dream guide. And of course, he stressed the importance of being present, metacognitively if not physically. We're exploring one of the preeminent voices of our generation. You can understand his sense of caution given that his mind is such a sought-after intellectual commodity. Our apparatus can achieve astonishing feats of tacit knowledge, but trust is something you have to earn over time through hard work and loyalty. But it's clear Dishome trusts us to some extent, if not unsupervised. The insects scurry along the infinite drift and the viewfinder of John's camera glows with alluvium dreamscape. New York Times, here we come. I document to the listening dictaphone that this silent mud-cracked vista is a mute testimony to an intelligence far greater than our own. These affirmations are about posterity, sure, but they're also about keeping the Grand Master confident in our motives. We respect him and have no intention of exploiting him, and in our dreams we're at our most vulnerable. If Dishome starts feeling uneasy, he will eject us from his mind in a heartbeat. This job is all about relationships. The winds of change sweep in from the west. I look up from the travelling insects and see the skeleton of some fallen beer moth lay before us. Are you getting this? I nudge John, who brings the camera to eye level. What is it? He asks. I survey the half-buried fossils. Some relic of imagination. It's had its bones picked clean by something, by someone. The words are barely out of my mouth when I see a large spider emerge from behind the fractured birdcage of bone. I jerk back in fright. My Freudian education comes to the forefront. Cigars, insects, spiders, fear, guilt, danger. The arachnid scuttles cautiously down the left beam, taking sudden strides towards the colony of insects at our feet. The insects panic and try to disperse, screaming into sentience as the spider wraps its silk around the mass and consumes them in one foul movement of predatory engagement. Jaws flapping, acid spewing, the screams of lost sentience. You know what this means? I turn to John, astonished. Oh Christ, dream thieves. relax, this is an even bigger scoop. The spiders. John and I have heard of them. This is their calling card. Spiders appearing from all corners to purge the algorithms of poor, unsuspecting personal landscapes, all in the name of intellectual property fraud. It's easy money if you can infiltrate the right brain and utilise the right covert distractions. I'm starting to doubt if this desert is authentic. It's looking more like this desert is actually a front, an elaborate deceit created by these criminals to distract us. I curse myself for failing to see through such flimsy camouflage, but the emptiness shocks me. It certainly makes sense that these factions would target the most fertile imaginations of our generation, but Deschamps' mind has almost been entirely emptied of its creative content. I mean, they cleared the place out. Suddenly it occurs to me that John and I might be part of a much bigger conspiracy, a wholesale mind theft. My excitement dissipates, and my next urge is to get out of Deschamps' head and regroup, collect our data, get more help. I turn to John, but he's nowhere to be seen. The barren landscape starts bleeding like a Salvador Dali depiction of Kadake, and my own form is soon as afflicted. My colours in quick deluge, hands pixelating to nothingness before my very eyes. Blackness rushes towards me. I'm being ejected from the dreamscape by Deschamps. What is he doing? Is he panicking? I can't collect my thoughts, and I'm powerless. My limbs are stalks of wet spaghetti. The void sucks me into it, and my shrieking heart roasts to a pulp in the microwave of my chest. I release a silent scream. When I come to, I'm lying supine in the sensory isolation booth, heart racing but no longer a mangled pulp. I get up and go to the adjacent chambers where the resting, dreaming bodies of John and Deschamps should be. Both are gone, scalp electrodes floating in 2 inches of water. I call after John, but I have a feeling in my gut that he's either being held captive by the spiders or was accidentally subsumed by Deschamps in his state of self-conscious panic. I go to the printer and see my dictaphone monologues stacked in a neat pile in the tray. I reread some of the notes, but they're all indecipherable algorithms. They've been converted to some kind of abstractive neuroalgebra. So the spiders have scrambled my notes, the bastards. The New York Times will never accept this, especially without any live footage. I notice a footnote that reads in plain text like an editor's additional comment. Weak premise for science fiction story about dream journalists and dream usurpers. Far-fetched and convoluted. Characters are two-dimensional, especially John, who is actually a double agent corrupted by the spiders and sent to surreptitiously appropriate my thoughts anyway. The main character was so simple-minded that he didn't notice this betrayal. Back to the drawing board, more care next time. I hear the ominous scuttling of spider legs on dream laminate.
Cut from the inside to produce a true tone with the heart. writes science fiction secretly.
sunny days. Remote-controlled umbrella man. Slink into focus with umbrella shield to keep the burning eye away. The marksman and the slave. I'm not from here, you see. Photosensitive, alienated umbrella boy. They send me down to take care of things. Take aim. An assassin, slave, and the motorcade, locked in an embrace until the sun goes down, born in subterraneous night. Alienated from nature, alienated from my work, alienated from you, alienated from myself. The grassy knoll is a mute testimony to an intelligence far greater than your own. Sensitive, servile, umbrella people. Sensitive, servile, umbrella people. Sensitive, servile, umbrella people. Sensitive, servile, umbrella people. Sensitive, servile, umbrella people.
It's meant to be an intricate fantasy, and it is in a way, replacing dreams of single origin coffee and the pride of the empire, left in the soul light in my head, with my colonial breastplate, zero-hour contract, identities fluid in quarantine. Look at the emergency night shelter, bring Starbucks prep, there's pesticides in my vegan sausage roll. I've been begging for gluten-free quality since 2006, seeking solace, dreaming of my own funeral. Well, I've got my dream coffin. All I want is
little nervous, perhaps.
Well, I think that's normal.